isolation is the worst. It just makes things so much. It it elevates the anxiety. It elevates the doubts, the fears, and the worries.
Yeah.
And again, I always go back to the saying my coach told me: it's never as good as you think it is, never as bad as you think it is.
Welcome to the Talent Alone Won't Win podcast. I am your host, Suzi Freeman. I am a mental performance coach, specifically working with kickers, punters, and long snappers. And I welcome you to the channel. Hey, everybody. Today I'm so excited. We have Matt Overton. He's got some amazing insight. I've chatted with him before, and his journey's inspiring for a lot of you in free agency and those that will be becoming free agents soon. So let's dig in. Thanks for being here, Matt.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I appreciate you taking the time. I know you just had a session this morning. You guys are so busy. I bet right now is busy. Can you just start a little for those that may not be super familiar with you, what your journey was like, who you are, and what you do right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you the in a nutshell version of my NFL journey. But starting back in high school, not a heavily recruited guy. I played everywhere on the offensive line, linebacker, defensive line, also long snapped. And so again, not recruited out of high school. I mean, I had some junior college opportunities, which is pretty mainstay for guys in California. A lot of guys go the JUCO route, which I'm very grateful for. It was perfect for me and the opportunity presented me to develop as a player. Um, but really, I mean, we're talking almost 25 years ago when I was in high school.
Wow.
Recruiting has evolved and changed so much. So there was no online platform, there was no recruiting services. It was pretty much just like word of mouth. You had to be the star headline in the newspaper on Saturday mornings. Like
Mhm.
that's how I'm kind of aging myself there, right? So there was
Are
no
you writing
YouTube.
letters?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you write letters, you send VHS tapes. I mean, yeah, we're aging ourselves here, but not heavily recruited. And so I decided to go the junior college route, stay close to home, um, very affordable to go that route, and that's where I really became more intentional with developing as a long snapper because my coaches there um, really saw that as my key to fulfill the dream of playing college football and
Yeah.
also potentially the NFL. And so again, back in the day, during this time period, early 2000s, there wasn't a lot of scholarship opportunities given just to specialists. You had to play other positions. Now you could walk on, but again, not everybody sets out to be the walk on. But now,
Mhm.
you see colleges all over the country at every level giving out scholarships just for snappers. Um,
Mhm.
NIL, rev share, all that kind of stuff is now available for guys. So it kind of opens up a lot more doors. So my draft or my journey, kind of started at JUCO with still wanting to play defense. I played linebacker, defensive end. Wanted to really have be on the field as much as possible, also while utilizing my talents at long snapper. And so my first year in junior college, I did both. I played linebacker and long snapped, and at the end of the year, I was awarded special teams MVP at long snapper, and I thought
Nice.
that was a really cool acknowledgement. Never really had been acknowledged previously for my skill set at that position, and so that was kind of the light bulb that went off in my head. Like, hey, I guess this is a really special niche skill
Yeah.
and ability that I do have. So um, need to start, really diving into it a little bit more. And at this time, again, like the resources that are available now weren't quite there. There wasn't a lot of camps. I think I went to a Ray Guy camp for punting just to go out there and snap and get some sort of feedback. There was also another coach, Paul Assad, who would work with specialists as well in Northern California. So I would go to a couple of those things throughout the year just to work on whatever I need to work on because I was all
Mhm.
self-taught up to this point.
Yeah.
So my second year in JUCO, excelled on the defense side of the ball, also snapped really well, and that really opened up some opportunities for me to pursue transferring to a bigger school and a four-year university. But I still had the mindset I wanted to play defense, and so I was recruited by Western Washington University, a Division II school, as a defensive lineman. slash D end and also long snapper, and took a visit there and got a scholarship there. And I was a 2-year starter as a defensive end, team captain, and long snapper. And again, once I got there, they really were kind of amazed
Yes.
at my ability as a long snapper. They never really had a bona fide guy that could do it. Um, and so again, that was kind of the light bulb. I just kept hearing the same things over. Man, you're really good at this long snapping thing. You need to stick to it. Um, and so I was an early transfer, so I was there for spring ball, my first year on campus, and I remember just receiving a text from my position coach saying, "Hey, can you be on the field in about 20 minutes for Michael Kanan, his pre-draft private workout for the Seattle Seahawks?" Michael Kanan was an All-American punter and kicker. Had a lot of eyes on him going into the pre-draft process. And so I went out there and snapped to him, and the scouts there were really impressed. The coaches were impressed, and I remember them telling me, "Hey, man, we'll come watching for your name in a couple of years," because I was now just only going into my junior year. And so that's really what it right place at the right time, getting my name on the radar with the Seahawks. Again, still self-taught up to this point. Really didn't have any idea about the position or what it would take to get to the next level. And so I'm gonna really size this story down a little bit. But so coming out of my senior year in college, I attended 3 different pro days just to get in front of as many scouts and coaches as possible. I went to San Jose State, which was huge for me at the time. They had some big draft prospects, and I was able to get in front of almost every NFL team. All 32 teams are present, and so I
No.
went there. Yeah, I went there and excelled really well in my testing. Again, be a defensive player and not just being a snapper throughout high school or college really kind of set myself apart from the
Yeah.
testing phases of bench press and vertical and 40 and all that kind of stuff. And then I snapped in front of about 7 scouts, and I just remember going back to campus the following week, and my head coach was getting calls from these scouts, and there was some real serious interest there. And so I got pretty excited. I remember the week leading up to the draft, the Chargers and the Seahawks called me personally and got on the phone with me, and so I was really excited. I mean, I was like, "Well, this
Yeah.
is this is pretty wild." And we were thinking, "Are you getting drafted?" And I'm like, "I don't think I'm getting drafted, but they're at least calling me." So um, at the end of the draft, I became I was invited to minicamp, so I wasn't even an unsigned free agent or a free agent signing. I didn't sign a contract. I was just invited to minicamp with the Seahawks in 2007, and I spent 3 days there. It was pretty overwhelming. My first time actually being very diligent and focused on just snapping. That
Right.
was a big transition for me. And so I got my feet wet pretty quickly. It didn't last very long. I didn't do too
Mm.
well. And so I knew I had to, at that point, I had to my name's
What do you
my foot was in the
what do
door.
you think went wrong? Like, what do you think went wrong at that mini camp? If you could go back now, what would you do different?
I mean, I was a little starstruck. Hey, I'm a
Mm.
guy from a Division II school. This is a dream come true just to be at minicamp.
Okay.
This is my first time like being coached as just a snapper. I mean, I would always just get away with my ability and talent. Like it was like, "Hey, that's a good snap, good snap, good snap." There was no technique, there was no drills,
Mhm.
there was no whatever. So being thrown into the fire without any of that previous preparation was pretty overwhelming for me.
Okay.
And so just looking back, it was just, yeah, it was a great opportunity. Didn't do the best. And I think I was too focused and worried on external factors. And again, I wasn't, when you're at a small school, guys aren't really prepped for the next level.
Yeah.
It's not you're not running through the SEC where like you go to those schools to go to the NFL. Like I was the anomaly at a small school.
Yeah.
And so Division II football, I mean, there's great talent, but the most of the guys in that locker room, they just love to play, and they know that the end of the road is there.
Right.
But for me, it was a little bit different. And so, yeah, my first NFL experience wasn't the greatest, but fortunately, it wasn't my last one. And so, really, like at the end of the day, it took me 6 years My draft year was 2007. I made my first NFL roster and played in my first NFL game in 2012 with the Colts. So it took 6 years after college to finally make it and play my first game. Um, in between that 6 years, I played in the UFL for 3 years, which was incredibly beneficial to my journey and career. Without that, I mean, I think it was nearly impossible to make it. At the time, Gary Zahner was now doing combines, and he was a huge advocate for me and help. And so those things that are mainstream now were just starting to come onto the radar around this time, like 2009, 2010, with the UFL and Coach Zahner, and
He's still
having
around.
yeah yes, having more opportunities as a specialist uh,
Yeah.
was very beneficial to me and a lot of guys that were kind of in my era.
Yeah, and it's funny because Gary's still here.
Oh yeah, he
He's
is.
still
Yeah.
doing the camps, which and he still gets the guys and brings them in. I was just at one and he had, like, probably 9 or 10, pro teams were there,
Oh yeah.
just various guys, so that's
Yeah.
fun. Okay. So then how long did you spend in NFL or in that space?
I was with the Colts for 5 years.
Okay.
After being released there, I went to Jacksonville for 2 seasons. Um, and then I sat out pretty much the entire 2019 season. Um, I was signed to the practice squad to the Chargers for a week that year. And then when COVID hit, I got signed to the Titans. So I played there in 2020. And then 2021 went to the Chargers, played there that season. The next season went to the Cowboys, played there that season. And then I sat out pretty much the entire 2023 season. I spent a week on practice squad with the Bears that year. And then in 2024, I played a little bit for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still a long journey. That's
Oh,
a
sure.
long time in the NFL. So that's fantastic. I love it because again, I was telling you pre-recording that I always think of you when I'm working with free agents. I'm like, just if you can give it a little time.
Oh,
You
sure.
never
I mean,
know.
yeah, I mean, I preach these guys. I mean, my story is a testimony for it. It's not normal that it takes 6 years.
Yeah.
But for me, uh, it's just it gets the point across that like as a specialist, maybe that window of opportunity is open a little bit longer, just because it is a niche skill and position. There's only 32 guys in the world that does the kicking, punting, and snapping job. Um, Opportunities are very limited every single year, and if you really have the desire and the dream and the goal to play, or at least put yourself in the position to give it your best shot, it needs to be a long term goal and a long term play. A lot of guys will give it 1 year and they fall off, and rightfully so. Guys have lives to live, they have career opportunities that
Right.
come along. But if it's really your desire, like it was mine, I just found every opportunity that I could take advantage of, whether it was arena ball, the UFL, showing up to these combines year in, year out, showing improvement every single year,
Mhm.
and it paid off, But I mean, for me, it wasn't like I wasn't doing anything in that 6 year span. I was, again, fortunate to play in the UFL. That kept my name relevant. It kept me in the game. I had a little bit of arena ball. I wasn't long snapping, but I was still playing. Like I was still acclimated to the game.
Right.
Um, so those opportunities in that 6 year span definitely helped me. Obviously, it kept me encouraged as well as playing the game that I love. But it kept
Mhm.
me sharp. It kept me my name on the blip of the radar, and it kept my name relevant. It'd be different if I just kept showing up to a combine every year and nothing were to happen. That's a little different. But for
Right.
me, and other guys too. Mitch Fabroni, another example, very similar to my path. Like I would see Mitch at every Zoner, every Coles every year. And it took, I think it was like his fourth year removed from college that he finally got some calls and he was getting some workouts. And now he's a great snapper for the Denver Broncos, So that's another example of a guy that just kept showing up, doing really well at these combines. Because even if you do well at the combine, it doesn't equate to an opportunity because those opportunities are so limited. And coaches are looking for something different. They're looking for, size and frame, something very specific from a snapping ability.
Hmm.
It's not just about going out there and charting really well. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it.
Yeah.
You kind of have to look the part. You got to be in shape. You got to be strong. You got to be just like, I mean, we're talking about the best of the best in the world. And so
Yeah.
there's so many guys that I've snapped alongside with who chart well every time, but they're missing something. Whether it's they're not very strong, they're not very big, they don't look like they're in shape. So there's a lot of other factors that come into play when it comes to like really bringing your best to the table. And so I mean, when I work with guys, they get discouraged because like I snapped really well, but nothing happens. And I try to
Yeah.
tell them, like, be honest with them. Like, there may be there's something maybe you're lacking. Maybe it's your strength and speed. Maybe that's what we really need to work on this off season. Like, we need to, you know, work on body comp. We need to work on overall strength. So like I said, fortunately for me, like I was playing, so I was in game shape. I was, all these guys that are now starting their UFL season, like those guys are, playing and they're being evaluated every single day. So, you know, um, that's a huge opportunity for us specialists to have that platform to play in leagues like that.
Yeah, it's fun listening to you chat about all the different positions you played and stuff because my conversation with Rocco was he's like, "Look, nobody starts out saying like, let me be a snapper. You kind of do other things and you have to have those athletic abilities." And so I love that piece and then it now makes sense as to why a lot of the younger snappers, that's funny, the younger snappers out there always refer to you as like you're the blocking king. You want to learn how to block and be that squirrely, like go see you. So I think that
Well, and that means a lot. But like, quite honestly, like I struggled with blocking in my career, and
did
so
you?
well, I mean, there was moments where I've had my struggles, and
Yeah.
it's a hard thing to really like hone in on, and
Mhm.
it's with the guys in college like, not blocking. I mean, it could be a really difficult decision or a transition to the next level because you have
Yeah.
to block on every punt at the next level. And so for me, it's like it's very humbling to hear guys say that, but I
Mhm.
know like internally, like I had my struggles, but I take the struggles and everything that I had to learn. And I just instill that in the guys like, hey, this is what I struggled at. This is what I wish I had worked on early on in my career to make those corrections that because the reality is too is these special teams coordinators, some guys are hands off, some guys are very hands on, and fortunately for me, like I had some really good hands on coaches. Tom McMahon is the perfect example. He was my coordinator with the Colts. He was so I mean, we spent a lot of time together and he
Okay.
developed he a lot of the coaching principles that I instill in the guys I help are from him.
Nice.
And he was a coach that I look back on. And Brant Boyer was the assistant, who's now the coordinator for the 49ers. Those two guys right there really helped shape and mold me into who I am as a coach and as a
Right.
player. And so and then I've been on teams where like I don't spend very much time with the coordinator at all.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, hey, you're a veteran, go do your thing. I trust you, and to some extent, that's great. I know a lot of specialists like having that approach, but for me, I know like a hands-on coach who pushes you, who's hard on you, who like really like just nitpicks you all the time. I mean, if you're mentally strong through that, it turns you into a much better snapper as opposed to a coach that kind of just gives you a long leash and just lets you
Yeah.
do your own thing. So I think there's a good balance when it comes to the next level of coaching. And I know in college it's kind of the same. Their special teams coordinator might be a tight ends coach, so there's not a lot of one-on-one interaction during practice. So
Yeah.
it's guys like me and Tai Long and other coaches who have been at the next level, right? Like we try to implement drills that they can take with them, that they can do on their own, because a lot of guys, they don't know what a routine is. They don't know how to create a
Oh,
routine. They don't know what drills to do. Like they just kind of know what they know, and they do the same thing over and over again with kind of no reason or rhyme to it. Um, and so just try to give these guys the tools that these coaches at the highest level have given us, that have helped us develop into better players.
yeah. I mean, I love, I working on that mental side, which is absolutely the first thing. If they don't have it, healthy habits and routines, it's like, oh, let's back it up to some basics. And I mean, it's so amazing when I get someone who is really excelling, and then I learn they really are just kind of winging it and stuff. And you're like, what? Do you know how much easier and better you would be if you just had some of these things? So I love that piece. And so, with that, what do you see? Probably, I would say more like lacking on that routine kind of healthy habit side that you wish either you knew earlier or you really are instilling in a lot of your guys that's pretty common. So, something that's going to be helpful for those watching that are younger that are like, "Oh gosh, I don't do I bet okay, let me get that."
Well, I would say like you just have to structure your routine around your daily and weekly regimented schedule with your team. Every team's different. They operate different. They practice at different times of the day. Lifting schedule is a little bit different, but for the most part, generally speaking, it's probably very similar, just depending on the time and obviously a class schedule and all that kind of stuff. But the biggest thing is like you have to be intentional with yourself, and like you have to carve out that time, whether it's before practice, after practice, on the day off. You have to, because the reality is like special teams is like 10 to 15 minutes a day in practice at most, right? And the rest is on your own individual drill or whatever. And so it was helpful for me to seek out help from someone who's been there to help me structure a routine that I could use on my own. I wouldn't have developed my own routine if it wasn't for coaches like Tom McMahon to give me things to implement throughout the week.
Yeah.
Um, and you kind of tailor that with your punter and kicker. It's like, what is their schedule? How do I mold my schedule into theirs? That way, you're kind of on in the same step and rhythm throughout the week.
Yeah.
And you just like you find what works, you stick to it, and you work on pregame, game day routines as well. How do you do it when you're traveling? How do you do it when you're at home? I mean, you have to be pretty methodical. Now, it seems a little overwhelming at first, but once you get it dialed in, it's like if you skip a little beat, you feel off.
Yeah.
And so I just think the routine is so critical. A routine is not going out there and throwing the ball and snapping at 15 yards and you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. Like
Mhm.
there's like, if you watch a quarterback is very meticulous. They're doing band work. They're doing stuff in the locker room before they go on the field. I mean, they are really methodical with their warm up. They're not throwing a football for like the first 30 minutes. They're doing some other things that are helping them prepare to then
Yeah.
start throwing the football down the field. And so you kind of have to just take that approach. I mean, you're a one of one. You're the only guy on the team, and you can't afford to get hurt. You can't afford to not have a good game. And so you really have to have that pro mindset of like, hey, if I want to be a pro, I need to start acting like one and start thinking like one. And so, you have to just kind of find, I mean, you can look at other guys on the team. Like I learned a lot from Adam Vinatieri, not drill specific stuff, but I watched his routine and his routine it's never strayed. I mean, it was 3 hours before practice, he's in the training room. He's getting mowed out. He's getting stretched. He gets on the field an hour before practice. He's doing his walkthrough. He's doing his normal warm up routine. And this is not even with me or the punter. This is just all on his own. So he's going through his own personal routine and workout and warm up before practice even starts. And when practice starts, then we start molding our routine in together. And so, I mean, I don't know. There's not no like one easy
Yeah.
answer to that. I think everybody has to develop their own routine and approach to it. But having a routine really sets you up for success. I mean, you have to, and it's just like going to the weight room, going into class. I mean, you have to have a routine that sets yourself up for success. And there's no different when it comes to long snapping and get ready for games.
Yeah, knowing what you're doing, right? Having, like you said, putting that intention behind what and why you're headed out there instead of just tinkering around. What could you say, or what do you say to the guys that you're working with, say those seniors in college that are worthy of NFL and will be looked at or are being looked at? What do you tell them to help give them that little extra piece, or what do you notice that's most important that you're trying to instill in that side of them?
The first thing I tell them is don't look too far ahead. I think a lot of guys start like the NFL comes on their radar, like their sophomore, junior year. And the first thing I say is do not look too far ahead. The last thing you want to do is overlook the next season because you're only as good as your next season, right?
Yeah,
College goes by way too fast. The NFL is not going anywhere. And the reality is 1% or less is going to actually make it, right? So enjoy where you're at right now. I think guys get too excited about what's next. They're calling me about finding agents. And I'm like, listen, like there is a time and place for that. Focus on the now, be present where you're at, be present where your feet are, like and enjoy college, give it your best, go out, whether the NFL is realistic or not, like enjoy where you're at and go have fun. Because trust
yeah,
me, being a free agent on the street is not fun. Okay.
no.
Like yeah, enjoy it. That's the first thing I always say. All right. Um,
Yeah,
and then, but when it comes to that, like you really have to have that be a pro mindset. Um, it's everything under the sun from showing up early, being the last guy out. It's all those little things. It's the little details that I think creates those guys who are truly winners and will succeed at the next level. I mean, the weight room is critical. You need to take that seriously. You need to get bigger, faster, stronger. You need to control the controllables. I mean, I know the NFL they have their measuring sticks. Like you need to be 6'2", you need to be 250, you need to be this that. A lot of guys aren't that. So I tell them, I say, hey, don't worry about your height. Maybe you can get some pounds on, right? But I want good weight. Um,
yeah,
you just need to be fast and strong, and you need to snap really really well. So I advise them to seek help outside of There's a ton of resources now. Utilize the resources. The guys who have been there, the guys who know how to get there, how to prepare. Like find those outside resources that can coach you,
mhm,
mentor you, and help you prepare yourself for the next level. But there's a time and place for that, you know. And so yeah, I would just say like for the most part, like don't overlook the next season. Don't get too excited about. Yeah, it's exciting. It's everyone's dream for sure.
right,
But don't overlook your next workout with the team, the next practice
yeah,
with the team. Don't worry about agents. Don't worry about combines. Don't worry about this, that, awards, whatever. Let it all play out and put your best effort in to where you're at right now. Because
yeah,
like I said, like I mean, all the guys that I work with, I mean, maybe one guy will get a shot, maybe,
okay,
and so it's that's just the harsh reality of the next level. So why not just enjoy where you're at, where you're going to play for another year or 2 years and have the best time of your life? Because, like I said, being a street free agent or an unsigned free agent, going to the combines year in and year out, it's not fun.
yeah.
You know?
No,
Yeah.
it's not. I mean, fortunately, if you're coming out of a great school and you had the benefit of getting NIL, fortunately, hopefully the guy set it aside and it buys them more time, right?
Yeah.
Because these camps and stuff are not cheap. Um, what if you were to just lean on the mental side of the game? What have you learned most, and what do you really kind of push for your guys if you do that piece? I know a lot of coaches just innately you do it, right? You give them that the mental resilience kind of pieces that you have. So what's your biggest takeaway in that?
I think for me, the biggest thing that I had to learn in my career was you got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
You can't take anything personal. Um, you really have to have a short term memory, and you really need to maybe not take it as seriously as, like, I mean, take your job seriously, but in the sense of like you hyper focus on every bad rep or poor snap, or you have to. The greats are real are they're able to move on from that poor rep really really
Mhm.
fast.
Yeah.
I learned too, it's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. So like I remember just going home from practice thinking like, gosh, I just had the worst practice. And I would dwell in those emotions, those thoughts, and I would watch the clip over and over and over and over. So that negative stimulation was just recycling through my mind over and over and over and over and over again. And then it would just turn into another anxious, bad day, the next day, right?
Yeah.
So I would hyper focus, and it wasn't even a bad snap. It was just maybe high, right, or it was low.
Yeah.
And but yeah, the benchmark at the next level is so like everyone's standard is so high, and I get it. But you have to really be able to recycle those negative thoughts or those negative plays, and just focus on the next one. And so like it was really important for me to learn that it's never as good as you think it is. Like you're riding the high, like great practice, great game, blah 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 blah. It feels great, but riding that wave of excitement and feeling good, like hey, that the league will humble you very very fast,
Mhm.
and you could have a really bad game the next one. So never as good as you think it is, never as bad as you think it is. Kind of having that even keel because it's a long season, and then as a specialist, and I think as athletes too, like when things aren't going right, it's really easy and it's kind of the natural response to kind of seclude yourself and isolate yourself.
Mhm.
I did that in my career at times. It's really toxic. It's not good at all. And so I would just encourage guys like don't hide from the mistakes.
Yeah.
Acknowledge them. Be honest with your coach. Be honest with yourself. Be vulnerable. Like and seek the help. Like the coaches want to be there to help you. The last thing you want to do is isolate yourself because at the next level, like you are replaceable.
Mhm.
The moment you start secluding yourself and isolating yourself and feeling like you're just trying to like distance yourself from your bad performance and your body language is bad and whatever, like those coaches, their antennas go up, and those GMs, and they're like, hey, if he's not mentally fit for this, like you're replaceable. They'll go find somebody else that will just come in and
Right.
do great. And so I mean, there's there's a lot of a lot of teams do offer like having the mental coach and all that kind of stuff, and I just think it's good to be able to find somebody or a group of people, whether it's your kicker, punter, or an offense lineman or whatever, like because at the end of what I had to realize too is like if I had a bad practice, I felt like I was the only one that had a bad practice or a bad game. The reality
Okay.
is there's probably 20 other guys that feel the same way, right? And it at the end of the day, everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's under a lot of pressure.
Mhm.
And so when you can shift the perspective to like, hey, we're all in this together, and it's not just me like feeling like I'm the weak link in the chain. Uh,
Yeah.
you can kind of climb out of that hole, and it helped me to like surround myself with other guys. Whether it was bubble guys on the roster where they're like fighting and clawing every day to stay on the roster, like just being around guys who like can really relate to you, like helped me a ton. It kind of loosened the weight on my shoulders. It allowed me to enjoy myself a little more because like I didn't feel like I was isolating myself.
Yeah.
And just like take your job seriously, but not too seriously to where it really just like takes the joy out of what you're doing. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of times in my career where I'm living my dream, but I feel the worst, you know
Uh,
and so it
yeah.
can be a daunting thing, and obviously I've leaned in my faith a lot through those times, which helped me incredible, but like from a mental side, like just being able to have like a community around yourself, inside that locker room is incredibly beneficial, because some guys feel hesitant to talk to their coaches, and I get it, right? Your coaches are very critical of you,
Yeah.
um, and you kind of feel like you have to have that barrier between the coach and yourself, and I wish coaches would be more open to like just uh, keeping it real and not having that like guard up.
I
Uh,
think they probably just don't really know what to say. They
yeah,
feel like if you're not trained to help in that regard, you're kinda
yeah,
like, "Suck it up."
yeah.
Like, "Get your shit together," right? They
Well,
don't
and on the flip
know
side
what
too,
to
the
say.
coaches feel the same pressure too, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if you're not winning, like everyone's on the chopping block, So I mean,
Yeah.
I've been in plenty of locker rooms where like you can already sense like the coaches are like planning for the next job interview. You know what I mean? That's the reality of the sport is in the game is like,
Yeah.
everyone's job's on the line every single week, and every week is critical. And so, but like having that bond with guys that you can really open up to, um, it's incredibly helpful. Not isolating yourself, like isolation is the worst. It just makes things
Agreed.
so much. It it elevates the anxiety, it elevates the doubts, the fears, and the worries.
Yeah.
And again, I always go back to the saying my coach told me: it's never as good as you think it is, never as bad as you think it is. Like just that even keel. Like there's humility. You just stay on the path and just keep going, just one day at a time, one rep at a time. And but
Right.
the greats know how to, like I said, the greats know how to take in that poor rep, figure out what went wrong, recycle it, it's gone. Like
Yeah.
they're on to the next one, and that's the main thing for us snappers, punters, and kickers. We only get a very limited amount of reps in the game or practice. We don't have 50 pass attempts where 30 of those could be good and 20 could be bad. We only have less than 10 reps. And
Right.
so it's really, really having the thick skin, short term memory. And that's the key to success at the next level.
Yeah. One thing I'll ask you, before we wrap up soon is, I notice a lot of this is goes along with probably just being in the pros, but also in that free agency piece. How did you handle moving so much? Because a lot of, again, chatting with free agents and stuff now, even just getting that last second call for a workout or being drug here, being drug there, flying 12 times in a, 2-month span, trying out or doing workouts with teams while you're a free agent. How do you handle that? And how did you? Because you moved a bit. And what advice can you give those guys?
Well, it's a lot easier when you're single and you don't have a wife and kids to take care of. I'll tell you that. So enjoy it while you're by yourself and you just pack a bag and go. Maybe you have a dog to worry about, and that's it.
Okay.
But
Fair.
I would definitely say like when it comes to in season workouts and being a free agent, I mean, there's definitely a schedule that you maintain. Typically a team would have guys work out on Mondays or Tuesdays, so I would kind of work my training regimen around those days. Like I
Yeah.
can get a call on Sunday, fly out Sunday night, work out Monday, or get called Monday, work out Tuesday. So like the Sunday to Tuesday was like, hey, I'm preparing for a phone call. Doesn't
Okay.
always come. And then train Wednesday through Saturday, whatever it is. But calls could come at any random. I've been called on Thursday. I've been called on Friday. So but the main calls come Sunday, Monday, and working out on Monday or Tuesday. And so kind of really gearing yourself for that, and just being like, I mean, for me, it was just um, you know being able to what really helped me in the free agent world, because essentially I was like a free agent for more than half of my 13-year career. Um, and I was fortunate enough to find like a community of guys who were all free agents, whether they're a kicker, punter, or snapper. And we train together. Like we're on the field on Wednesdays and Fridays, and we're preparing for those calls on Monday or Tuesday, and we're
Yeah.
working together and we're encouraging each other. So I would just encourage guys. Training by yourself is not fun. You get burnt out. There's no accountability. There's no fun. It's just methodical, or it's just like
Mhm.
very rhythmic, and you kind of get burnt out. But if you
Yeah.
can find yourself a community, even if it's like, I don't care if it's a linebacker or a running back or a receiver, like find some other guys that you can work out with at least once or twice a week who are on the same page as you, have the same dreams and ambitions as you. But it's definitely helpful as a snapper to find, kickers and punters that you can work with throughout the week, um,
Right.
and to kind of stay on schedule. And it's great just to be around other guys. And so I know not everyone has that luxury. You might be in the middle of Missouri or wherever, but if you can find a facility or you can find a community, and that's why I've just been so blessed here in Nashville. There's so many guys here. that we're just constantly around each other, and so that's been really helpful for my mindset, my encouragement, um, because the reality is, like, if your friends, your families, closest, whoever who's the closest to you in your family or in your circle, they may not really fully understand, what it means to be a free agent. They think it's just like, oh, you get called, you go and you play. No, I mean, there's a lot more to it, and like the longer it drags out, like,
Yeah.
people start like, how long are you doing this for? You still what? You still training? Like, it's so a lot of people that aren't in it don't understand. That's why it's really, really beneficial to be around people who
Yeah.
know what it feels like, and are in the same position or whatever. It's just be around like-minded people, or find a trainer who's, understands and just keeps you encouraged. And because I said it's got to be a long game play here. I mean, if you really want to, give it your best shot, think about a 3 to 5 year plan. Because for the specialist, that's a more of a common route and journey for guys. It doesn't happen
Yeah.
for most guys right out the gate from college.
Would you give that same recommendation, that 3 to 5 year, if a guy's like coming on third year in and he's not even been with like UFL or
I
anything?
mean, yeah, it's the key to that is like, those guys who have been out of school for 2 to 3 years now. They haven't really had any workouts. There hasn't been any phone calls. There has to be some, like, I think I talked about this before with you. Like, when you show up to these combines, there has to be something different about you.
Mm.
Like, if they see Matt Overton, I look the same, on the same side, like whatever. Like, like I said, there's body comp, there's
Yeah.
the look test, there's the snapping ability, there's if it's all the same every single year, and those scouts see the same Matt Overton out there, it's like, oh, just Matt. Yeah, he's good, but we know, like, he's already
Yeah.
shown his ceiling. Like, now if you're a guy that just continually shows up and there's just something a little bit different about you, like it's
Mhm.
improvement here, he looks better, he looks stronger, he looks faster, like, those add up over time. And those are the guys that, after 3 4 years, something clicks, and they're starting to get the phone calls, they're starting to get the workouts and opportunities, whether it's UFL or whatever. So like,
Yeah.
if you're on this path, like, and you show up to the combine, yeah, you have to do well charting wise, but there has to be something different. Whether you're a better blocker, maybe your blocking is way better this year, or your laces on field goals are better this year. Like, there has to be something that stands out every single time, and not just be the same guy, looks the same, snaps the same. It's just the same, right?
Yeah.
That would be
I agree.
my encouragement to guys, because my first year at Zonner, average.
Okay.
Maybe the next time I'm with the Zonner, a little bit better, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I think Zonner would say the same thing. Like, the guys who get the opportunities are the guys that keep elevating their game.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that makes sense because obviously, if you think of college life, you want to get better each year so you can get those
exactly.
accolades and the
Yeah,
things, or, not that we're shooting just for the accolades, but it's, you want to have those good statistics and things coming through. So
yes,
I understand that and I love that. But I appreciate you being here.
no, my
And
pleasure.
I mean, you always drop good nuggets. I love that. So, oh, one thing I'll ask is, I wanted to know, tell everybody kind of, why did you decide to coach? Did that just feel like the next natural piece where you're like, okay, I'm done. Like, let me help the others? Or was it just kind of thrust upon you because people were calling, like, hey, help. And you're like, here we go. Like,
I mean, it started when I became a free agent in 2017.
okay,
Out of nowhere, got cut by the Colts, and was kind of, uh, what do I do now? Like, my world went upside down, and so,
mhm,
I got back to training. But then, college kids or high school kids or other free agents, like, they started, hey, let's train together, let's snap together. Great, I would love that. So I started really helping guys, or snapping with guys. It was just me snapping with them. It wasn't really me helping them
Yeah.
necessarily from like a coaching standpoint, because my mindset was like, hey, I need to get better. I need to improve my game. And so been doing that for probably 8 years. And then once I got to Nashville, started working during COVID. I mean, I worked with a lot of kids during COVID, right? It was great. It helped me stay sharp. It was fun. I didn't charge a dime. Just come out to this field. Let's
Oh,
work.
nice.
Let's have fun. So I've been like coaching for a while now,
Yeah.
or at least like mentoring guys for a while now, and it's been awesome. But about 2 years ago, 2024, um, it was on my heart to just be more intentional and deliberate with coaching,
Okay.
and just taking that leap of faith where it's like it's now like hands on. Like I'm not showing up to snap; I'm there to coach. Um, and I charge a fee. It holds me accountable, holds the athlete accountable,
Right.
and so I just want to become a resource for guys who are. And I'm not the snapping guru by any means. I'm not big on changing much. I'm there to share my knowledge, share my experience, share my testimony, help with a little bit of mechanical work and blocking and all that kind of stuff, and just giving guys an idea of what's expected at the next level, whether it's high
Mhm.
school to college, college to the pros. And so, I just, taking my experience, my knowledge from all the different coaches that I've had in my career, instilling that and sharing it with those guys. It's been awesome.
Yeah.
And, it's just been a fun space to be in. And it's grown very fast, and it's been great. And so, but my intention is to be a very hands-on coach, because, like I said earlier in the interview, the coaches that made me better were hands-on, and keep it real, make it hard, making practice hard, and that's my goal for my role as a coach is to love on these guys, mentor them, encourage them, but coach them hard, and
Mhm.
hold them to a higher standard, and push them to reach their full abilities, and so it's been so much fun, and I love these kids. I mean, it's incredible to think that these guys would take time out of their week to fly across the country to come train for a day or two, and
I
so
know. Yeah.
it's really really cool. And so it's a great space to be in. It keeps me a part of the game. It's made me a better snapper, like, because I'm like, when I snap, I'm more meticulous on my routine, my warm-ups, my
Mhm.
drills, because as a coach, I don't want to keep like reiterating things over and over and over if I don't do them myself. So I
Yeah.
love to occasionally snap with the guys because I want to practice what I teach too, so um, it's been great. It's a joy. It's very fulfilling, and it's a great purpose. So it's been a lot of fun being deliberate on the coaching side of it now, and I still have like a drive to possibly play still, but it's like I for me, I just know that like I've had my time. It's been
Right.
great, and if I can help somebody reach, be a starter on varsity, or get a scholarship, or a walk-on opportunity, or get a workout at the NFL level, like that it makes me so happy, and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah. No, that is so true. I tell even, the guys at the college level and stuff, I'm like, "You learn the most when you teach."
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yeah.
I wish I had this mindset 15 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun because you've got the knowledge. It's just sometimes they don't implement it or utilize it, but then when they go teach it, they're like, "Oh my god, that would have fixed my problem."
I
And you're
know.
like,
It's so cool.
"Yes, that
Yeah.
would."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you again so much.
My pleasure.
Always love what you have, and I was genuinely, sincere when I was saying I do hear guys from all around the country talk about you. Some that haven't even been to you yet that are striving for that, having the
Yeah.
ability to get to you some point because they really see you in that space. And I'll say too, it's not just that blocking aspect, but one thing that a few of them mentioned they love is the fact that you don't come in and try to like fully change them up to be your way. It's you kind of just embrace that piece of them and help them just be better in themselves. So I'll say keep that up because they
No,
love that
yeah,
piece
it
of
means a
you.
lot. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I appreciate you again. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Susie. Thank you so much for having me. And I think from a snapping standpoint, this is one of the most talented group of eligible seniors that I've seen in a while.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of talent, and I think the talent just keeps elevating
Yeah.
every year. And so it's cool to see these guys really doing well. And so I'm excited for the guys that I know that have private workouts coming up and local pro days with the NFL teams and the draft. The draft can get exciting, but hey, tell these guys, hey, don't worry about being drafted. An opportunity is an opportunity.
Yeah.
If you get an invite to minicamp or you sign as an undrafted free agent, your foot's in the door. That's all you need.
Hmm.
Don't worry
Right.
about your status on the draft board or how much money you get in signing bonus. Like
Yeah.
just take the advantage of the opportunity and go enjoy it and give it your all.
Yeah. No, that's true. That is so true. But yeah, there's a lot of great talent out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'll be fun to see this year and what's coming too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
My pleasure. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Talent Alone Won't Win podcast. If you want to get more tips and tricks on how to uplevel your mental game, subscribe to the channel and visit my website, susifreeman.com, and let's connect.